Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, at last, finally. All right, I would like to call the March 7th, 2023 Planning Board meeting to order. And would all the board members present please state your names for the record. I'll start with myself, Pete Angie, chairperson.
Rebecca Schneider.
Linda Little.
Thank you. And I just wanted to thank everybody that worked together to get the audiovisual going, and thank you all for your patience, everyone who's in the room. We have several items on our agenda tonight, so we'll try to move swiftly. First of all, I would like to ask, are there any suggested modifications to the agenda?
I have just one, the operational items, which seems like more internal. Can we postpone that to the next meeting when we don't have 5 projects to review? But is that all right to move that to next meeting?
That sounds good. Could I get, are there any other suggested modifications to the agenda? Could I get a motion in favor of proceeding with the agenda with the one modification that Rebecca suggested, that we postpone the operational items?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Next item, have folks had a chance to review the February 7th meeting notes, the minutes from our February 7th meeting?
I haven't seen them.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either.
You haven't seen them, okay. So I believe Niels had sent them to all. However,
You can post it to the end. Yeah.
let's,
Postpone.
Yes,
I'll make a
let's-
motion.
Postpone.
Yeah,
well, yeah, well, okay, so we'll postpone minutes, approval of the minutes then for the next meeting.
Oh, they came too early. Yeah. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, excellent. So our first order of business tonight is privilege of the floor. And this is a chance for members of the public who do not have an application in front of the planning board to speak on matters on their mind. And if you do choose to speak, please state your name for the record, and the limit is 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone that would like to address privilege of the floor? No, okay, thank you. That will close privilege of the floor. Our next agenda item for tonight is we have some old business. We have the SureSave 2-lot land division, and tonight we have a public hearing. And even though we've heard it a couple times, there may be members of the public here who have not. So I would like to give the SureSave representative a chance to very briefly describe their project.
excuse me, we
Oh,
have to
yes.
accept the application first. We haven't done that. So I'll make a motion to accept the application for SureSave. So
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, Mo. All right, Wood, thank you very much.
My name is Hayden Brainerd. I am attorney for the applicants, GPS Management Planning, LLC. And our proposal is to subdivide the current SureSave lots into 2 parts. The subdivided portion will be the vacant grass part between SureSave parcel and the wider dealership. And that's it. We're drawing a line on a map and sectioning off the vacant part from the occupied part. And that's pretty much it.
and nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. No, we updated our application at Neil's request and sent that in, but apart from that, this was approved in June, same process, same request.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. So this opens a public hearing stage of this application. And are there any members of the public present that would like to make comments or have questions on this application?
And please state your name and address.
Michael Boggs, 1904 Trimsburg Road. The question I have is, the smaller lot size, does that affect the septic area? Many times it requires a certain acreage, but I wasn't sure if you guys have looked at that or not.
That would be for you.
So the applicant hasn't proposed any development at this time. My understanding is at that time that the development would come in, we would review it at that time.
Usually when the health department does
Mhm.
septic systems, it's based on the full lot, so this is being cut down square footage.
Yeah.
Then was there a current septic permit based on the square footage of the full lot? That was all I.
Oh, you mean that for the existing septic system?
I'm talking about a new septic system, the existing
Right.
septic system.
Okay,
Do you want to have a minimum lot size for septic systems? I just wondered if you
oh,
consulted with the health department to make sure that the new smaller lot size.
right, okay.
We did not consult with the health department, but it's outside of, the lot lines, you can see on the map. Clearly delineate the septic system on the map, and it's, right around the septic system. So it's, when you look at on the site, look at it. It's not as obvious on the map, but if you go to the property, look at it, the septic system is clear, identifiable of an area where it's at. We work around it with the lot lines.
Hmm. Right. Hmm.
So at this point, we just.
That's what it is now.
We don't have to get them. So do we need to have the Department of Health review this because of that issue or not? Or we just take input tonight and then we deal with it later? I mean, afterwards. Is that right?
For the development.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions or comments from the public? Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So the next portion is looking at the draft resolution of the seeker. And that resolution states that the proposal, I'm sure you've all seen it, key points is that the proposal should not negatively impact the character of the neighborhood, should have a minimal impact on traffic along Trumansburg Road, and it should not negatively impact natural water or resources. And the town planning staff has recommended a negative determination of environmental significance with respect to the proposed subdivision approval. The resolution as drafted is, the planning board hereby makes a negative determination of environmental significance. That's the resolution before us. Is there any discussion on the resolution?
I think that Michael Boggs has brought up an interesting point that we didn't consider, which is
Right.
whether the septic is too close to the line or may no longer fit the requirements when it was designed.
For the.
But we haven't had to deal with this before, so how do we deal with this, Niels? Do we have to actually take it to the Department of Health and have them review it again?
Doesn't look like that was reviewed last time. We can do that this time. Ask for their input, review.
It seems appropriate, I mean, because, it was set up for, a large facility with, and now they're cutting part of the property off, so if the drainage field is like right next to their, property, do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
I guess what kind of setback, and I don't know this off the top of my head, what kind of setback is required from the edge of a septic drainage field to to the property line?
That would be up to the health
design.
department.
And the
The
design,
zone is B1, doesn't have any setback.
Hmm,
it depends on the design of the leach field when it was built and everything, yeah, which we don't. No, you'd have to look at the Board of Health,
It's possible things have changed as well over time.
right? Yep.
What kind of comment or comments from the health department would you be looking for? Considering that we don't know what, or we don't have any proposed plans at this time for the property.
All right, suppose it did extend into the property. What if it did go into that property? What difference would it make? It would make a difference when they try to sell the property, which they're not doing right now. It's not part of, or try to build there. The leach field could still go into it. They might want to disclose that to the
Yeah.
new buyer or
I don't think
something.
you're allowed to have your leach field on
Go in
another
there.
property. I'm pretty sure that would be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like saying all your
But-
plumbing, your pipes are there.
But
Yeah,
we
That's
don't
the
know.
question of
Yeah.
Whether,
Yeah, we don't, I mean, according to
Don't
this
know.
map, where the septic is laid out, it's a pretty rough
Right.
sketch, but it doesn't appear to extend onto the other property. Does the property, yeah, I wonder, does the property owner have any insight into where the septic system lies? As far as the leach field beyond this pretty rough sketch?
Yeah, there's actually 4 different leach fields.
Yeah, I see on the map, but it's not very clear. I see there's a tank. So
Yeah.
it's like in the middle,
Yeah.
there's a tank down at the end.
The surveyor was familiar with the property and identified that they set the leach fields from the land records, right? When they did the development, they did the addition, but installed all of those systems. He prepared the survey. So he prepared the survey when they built the buildings and for the past 3 years, whatever changes they made. He's done it and recorded all of that on the map. So he certainly had the health department approval and land, the construction and development records part of him when he built the map. So he identified it there. I honestly don't think you're gonna get a better map from the health department. It's all underground, right? There's.
So there were 4 tanks
Yeah,
and then 1 leach field.
we,
Where leach
yeah.
field?
we, revamped a little bit the septic system about 10 years ago
Mm.
and added 2 leach fields, and abandoned one, all through the, it was all engineered and approved by the health department. And I'll tell you, I remember early on when we started talking about this, we actually, before we did that, and I wish somewhere I have my notes, I actually talked to the health department and the person talked to actually got it from planner.
I can't hear what you're saying, I'm sorry.
John gave me a name and I have notes on it somewhere, but.
but you have the engineer who actually did it.
No, I talked to the health department and I wish I could remember the setbacks, how concerned they were. It was very minimal of what they were. From a leach field. I can't remember what the wording was.
And then the surveyor proposed those lines based on the leach field and I'm sure he understood what the setbacks were.
And I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, that septic system is designed for the businesses that are there. So, I mean, the size and the area and how it functions, has nothing to do with the rest of the property. It's built on volume and
Mhm.
whatnot.
I get
So-
that, yeah.
So it's not based on 3 more acres of property over there. We left that septic with that piece of property. The new piece of property could not use that septic.
Right.
Oh, right, yeah,
So-
I get
So I
that, yeah.
I don't, Yeah.
Neil, I have a question. Could we put a stipulation in if we want to?
Yeah,
We could approve it and just ask the health department to just go through it and make sure it's okay.
You can put it as a condition.
Yeah. but
yeah, the
see,
conditional, so we have it in the record. that
Yeah, so
was
it's just in the
reviewed.
record. It's for your safety and for ours.
Sure.
Yeah.
It wouldn't stop the accepting, but it would
Yeah.
at least give us the satisfaction that we know it's all okay.
I wish I had the person in the notes from talking to them.
If you had it, it would have been a lot
Actually, it
easier.
was, of course, it was like a year ago.
Yeah.
And
But they should have, I mean, the Department of Health actually would have the record, so it's worth contacting them. I mean, that's their job.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, we definitely checked it out to
Yeah.
see where the lines needed to go and all that.
you guys do great stuff
So
there.
I,
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
yeah,
But so how do we, if we do put a stipulation, then we still have to then implement the next action, which is somebody's got to
We're-
contact Department of Health.
I mean, we're on the seeker right now. Why don't we complete the seeker and then go on to the resolution of approval, because that's where where a stipulation would fall in.
Yeah. I thought if we approved it with the condition, then there's a period of time that the condition has to be satisfied automatically, or it's not approved anymore. Is it something like that?
I don't know what time
Trying to
necessarily
remember.
for conditions unless you say, unless the board states one. There's a time period of 62 days to record.
I guess my question is even so is what is the information that we're asking the health department to give sanction to?
Oh, just the setbacks of what the leach field is now.
That
That's
it's
all.
legitimately contained within these, when
Yeah,
the property
that's-
it goes with.
So two questions. So if
Okay.
there are setbacks,
Yeah, if they're right, if there's
There are.
supposed to be a setback,
are those
and
lines-
if they approve what's there right now. I'm sorry, not approve what's there because we don't know, but just to make sure the setbacks are set. Because if you do subdivide it and then later you want to sell it, and now you have a problem with that, and you're gonna have to come back here and
Okay.
change the whole thing again.
So let's stick with the seeker first.
So
are there any other
That's all we're asking.
Are there any other questions related to the seeker, related to environmental impact? Okay. Could I get a motion to approve a negative determination on the seeker?
Sure.
Yeah.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to the second resolution is the subdivision itself, and we're looking at a condition that the health department determines the location of the septic system to be within the property lines, within the proposed property lines.
Right.
And are we looking for a time period? Is there a time period? Like Niels, can you tell us, is there sort of a statute of time that's typically used for that?
Be able to retrieve that within 2 months.
We will retrieve it within 2 days.
Good.
Great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay,
Great.
all right.
Statutory.
Great.
So
Yeah.
with that caveat, with that addition, could I get a motion for approval of final subdivision approval for the proposed minor subdivision?
I'll make the motion.
With that caveat, yes,
Yeah.
second.
That's okay. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
I,
Right?
Okay. And Niels, can you give the applicant sort of or maybe this can be discussion after. I think Niels can give you an idea of sort of what of next steps.
Email. Call tomorrow.
So something in writing though from the health department saying, so we can have something on record would be nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay.
You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It was a good.
Thank you.
Yep, take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, I can't see you, but take care. Next order of business tonight is the Angel Hearts Market sketch plan review. And this is a project that seeks to create a new business at the site of the old West End gas station and market. And I would invite the applicants to come forth and give us a brief overview of their proposed project.
Where's the rest of this? There. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have graphics? Are you showing them graphics?
These are the figures that we have in the. here.
yeah, it looks like the drawing you have.
Yeah, okay, so I can see that within the materials I have.
The colored one.
Hi, yeah, hi, I can see you, thanks.
I'm Jan Brad, from Trowbridge Wolf Michaels Landscape Architects in Ithaca, and representing Kim Drew for Angel Hearts market application. And the property is it was the historic West End grocery, so it was always a commercial property. And initially we went to apply for a BZA permit in November of 22. And Niles consulted with me and said that given the situation and the property, that it was commercial, that we would have to go forward, and rather than BZA application, we would go for a special permit. Because the primary residence and the commercial historic property occupy the same full property, which is 5 acres, just a little over 5 acres. So the proposal for the property is to rehabilitate the existing historic market property, and then also add on a 1,250 square foot commercial kitchen addition that would facilitate the market. So it would aid in, you know, all their operations day to day, baked goods, coffee, different things like that. This was the survey. Kind of conceptual plan where we're at right now. You can see the existing store, and then the existing overhang from the original store, and the proposed addition at the rear of the property.
Mhm.
So there's currently a few outbuildings on the property, and those would be removed, and the addition would be added on to the rear of the property, and the entire building would be rehabilitated. Also, you know, as part of that, part of the site plan would be you know, parking to facilitate the business, pedestrian pavements and things like that, so they can access the site. Space in the rear of the property, which would be an outdoor dining space for summer months. And, you know, given the since COVID happened, it would, you know, really be a necessity and a good addition to the property. And also at this time, we're thinking about, you know, stormwater and things like that for the property and what would need to take place. And we've put that in the application as well, the preliminary.
Okay. Are you showing a graphic of a finished
We're also
product?
working with it's not finished, it's a concept plan.
Mhm.
May I see it? I just, because I didn't see it in the materials. Could you just hold it up for a moment? I just want to take a
The
peek.
camera's right there, so you can see it right there.
Oh, yeah, that's what's in the materials. Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
So, you know, at this time, we're submitting for sketch plan review and application to see what the next steps will be to start to move forward hopefully with the project. You know, we feel like it'll be a really good contribution to the community. The Black Diamond Trail is right up Barrett Road. We plan on having bike facilities and things like that. And Andy Sherrod was already working with DOT for permitting as well, to start the conversations on access and ingress and egress. And the thought was that we would make it one-way ingress off of 89. That intersection.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. So thank you very much for your presentation and your very thorough packet as well. And this is an opportunity for the board to ask you some questions.
So one, I'm delighted. I'm sure we all are. That's been a bit of an eyesore there and I was wondering what could happen. So it's a perfect, I'll be there. It sounds perfect. I have two issues that you need to think about. I went and visited the property, so you have a fairly steep slope coming right up,
Sure.
right? What's gonna happen is you're actually gonna dig into that slope and you'll probably need a retaining wall. And it doesn't show on your diagrams, and when you put the retaining wall in, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a lot of groundwater coming out from that slope. That means you're gonna have a groundwater seeping through the system, and unless you deal with like a French drain or something, they'll come into the buildings and all, so you need to deal with that.
Sure.
All right, the second is figure 69 and 70, where you show that drawing and then follow it up with where the leach field is. The leach field is up in the hill.
It is.
All right, so that's gonna be problematic as well. So you, given the way you've got this laid out, that means, are you planning to dig out all that material?
There's a certain amount of cubic yard of material that would need to be taken out. And Andy's working on an engineered sand system that would be installed.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And
Is it gonna be above grade though? Because it's gonna go right
It
into
would.
your parking lot and that little
It's-
dining area.
Like I said, it's gonna be an engineered system that's like fully under drained and
Okay.
engineered. It's pumped up to. We're in kind of the early stages of that.
Uh-huh.
But that was definitely one of the
Okay.
considerations. And, you know, as you know, the flattest part of the site is actually where the parking and everything is.
Yeah, of course.
So it's, you know, it'll be a challenge, but we feel like we can come up with solutions for it moving forward.
Okay, so definitely, given he didn't have a retaining wall or a drainage system for that, talk to him about groundwater and what it's gonna do to that leach field as well. That
Okay.
whole, that system pours water down through there, so, you know,
Sure.
just be aware that you don't want your site flooding or your building flooding is. So, but anyway, I'm totally for it and I like everything you've got, your thoughtful egress and all.
Yeah.
My question, where is the well?
Right now, there are 2 wells that service the property.
We'd probably have to dig another well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, because it's not on any of the plans, it would have to be on the plan.
Yeah.
Where the wells are, unless I missed them, and it's a possibility.
I thought it was on this plan.
Yeah.
The existing well is right near the house here.
Okay,
So
so
that
just,
was,
just put them on, because where the septic is and where the well is.
Yeah,
have to
you
be-
gotta have 100.
Right, exactly, and also have to, not upgrade, but away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. On 89 right there. I know where it is, there's a little hill coming up if you're coming north, and then it's flat right there. Okay, because the turning traffic going in, and it's a great idea to put it one way, but I don't know if that turning in off of 89 is going to be safe, let's put it that way, because people, I mean, you know that road.
Oh, yeah.
Speed limit is 55, people usually do about 65. So that would just be a little concern, it might be better to go the other way around, let them come out and go up and in.
We looked at that, but
Yeah.
actually when you're pulling out of the driveway,
Yeah.
there's a bit of a curve.
Oh,
So
so-
you don't have a lot of sight distance coming out there.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it would meet like a sight triangle.
so it would be better to go off of 89 in. and
Yeah.
Come out the other way, okay. I mean, I know the property very well, I drive by it all the time, but I just don't remember the road 100%. Okay,
Yeah. Are there any other additional questions?
Yeah, I have, there's a huge gorge on the south side of it. Is that within, when you push back with the addition, is that still within well, what are the setbacks then? From the
They're-
75 at that,
75.
but it was, but I thought down there, at the 70
If it's not a steep slope, it's not very unique natural area.
isn't that
You are
unique
50 all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 all the way.
too? But is it seven, well, is it in either? Is it within the 50?
The 50-foot, actually, it's not there.
Is it?
The 50-foot line is right here. So here's the existing market. And that's 75 on the front.
Okay,
So this is a minor stream here. There's also a minor stream to the north.
okay.
Are there any additional materials that board members would like to see from the applicant?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Lighting, kind of lighting.
The thought was, given the conservation district.
Yeah.
That, any lighting that would be necessary for code is gonna be, dark sky compliant, down lighting. Hours of operation, in the evening, we shouldn't.
Any thought to that?
Okay. Well, the reason is because it's on the highway, you
Yeah.
have strong lights up there sometimes.
No, we were thinking full cutoff, dark sky compliant, so
Okay,
we don't have any light
Okay,
things like that.
That was just a question.
How about, the other thing is signage along the road.
The
How
thought
you
was,
plan to do that?
the existing sign is still there from the historic business.
Yeah.
It's a metal pole, kind of historic sign, and it has two lights on it, but the sign's gone. The
Oh.
thought was that we
Okay.
would repurpose that historic piece and put the new sign on there.
Okay,
Good idea.
Again, lighting in mind, we would keep in mind with, full candles and things like that.
Yeah.
Not have light pollution.
okay, okay. So we're considering making this, the whole parcel a new district. Once that becomes a business district in its own right, you could repurpose the house or anything else for the business function as well, right?
So,
If we leave it all as one parcel and it's all a new business district.
so just to clarify, because nomenclature.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of weird, so it's-
Right.
They're not requesting a new development district, they're gonna stay the same zone. They're just. And what's happening here is it's non-compliant law, because you've got the residential and the business, so that's. Legal non-existing, so all they're planning to do is renovate the existing.
Yeah.
Gas station, market, or a restaurant, which is a permitted use.
Just a
Right.
special, that's what we're giving.
Right.
Just-
Oh, a
that's-
special permit.
Right. just for that,
I gotcha. All right, yeah,
Not for the house or any of the other, just for.
Right.
that.
got it. Okay.
Okay. Are there any additional materials that board members would like to see from the applicant? Looks like the screen has frozen. But can you hear me? I'm sorry, I can't. Okay,
And that would be on this particular. Where we would need it on this particular.
Yeah.
Survey,
yeah.
okay. The screen was frozen for a little bit. Did I miss anything? Did anybody ask for any additional materials?
What did you get?
I
So,
got
yes.
asking and that was it. Then it froze.
An updated site plan map with any wells, what they're gonna do with the cutting back into the hill slope and whether there'll be a retaining wall and shield, if any changes, or how is that gonna be designed relative to the wells, the stream, the elevation?
Yeah, I don't think, that map doesn't have elevation, it would have to
Yeah.
have elevation.
Okay.
And,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah,
Are we
For me-
concerned about, tree removals or any of that? I
There
mean,
was a
it's
long,
kind-
there was a long section about the tree removal that you had back there.
Yeah,
They're only taking, about the small trees, I think, out of
And
it.
most of them are ash.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's right, and there
So they're
were
already-
no.
so they're being
big
have to,
orange strips.
We have,
Okay.
invasive species and tree removals.
Yeah.
We don't like to take any more than we need to.
Yeah.
There are, one or two large trees in the rear of the property. One, we'd like to incorporate it in that, dining area.
Dining area,
kind of
yeah.
Up on the slope.
And it would help hold the slope.
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, additionally, as part of the final plan, we'll move forward. It'd be, landscaped appropriately, we'll probably incorporate rain gardens.
Yep.
Or plantings, things like that, to really.
Yeah.
Bring it up, yeah.
Aid in the slope condition that. Can help with any stormwater management.
Yep, I noticed you did put them on the map that you might put in some of the parking lot, whatever, if you needed them.
Yeah, and we were looking at the potential of using porous pavements in the parking lot, and then. We haven't done the stormwater calcs yet, but once we get to that point.
okay. All right. All right, so the screen has frozen again. Sorry, I can't hear what's going on in the room. I don't know if people can hear me. All right, come on, what's going on here? Screen has frozen again. All right.
The only thing was when you put in your well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you haven't really got to see what the situation is in the back there, okay. Just a question.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board?
No, thank you.
Nope.
All right,
No.
great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. This project looks like it's
Yeah.
going to be a welcome addition to the neighborhood. We will look forward to receiving those additional documents, and we can send you just like a list of what it is that we've asked for as well. It's frozen again. Still frozen. Man. We got a frozen screen, everybody. All right. This is not working out. Man. Can anybody hear me? My goodness. Can anybody hear me? I'm gonna stop video and start video, and where's the room? My goodness.
Peter, my name is Mark Magnus Sharp, just so you know, somebody can hear you.
Good. Thank you, Mark. variant.
Oh,
So they will be going to the BZA with this, and they want to know what we think about it.
Ah,
It's a mess. It's totally out of totally out of compliance, so I'm not really sure. I mean,
Neil, go for it, tell us.
But did, yeah, so did the 50 feet that they're using for the, okay, so the flagpole
you can't do that though.
isn't even 50 all the, oh wait, it's 62.
Yeah, but it's not attached to the property. It has to be part of the property, and the 350, it has to be within that 350 area. It can't be that little tag over there.
Oh,
So that's also, but they don't have 400 feet in the second property at all.
they don't, but if you add the 50 to the 62 to the 350, that gives
Yeah.
the total thing 400 frontage. I don't think the law says it has to be contiguous, just as long as you have 400 feet.
That's open for interpretation.
Yeah,
Ah, you're not gonna answer us.
but that's a BZ, but the BZA has to wrestle with.
So the BZA's already looked at this and they're throwing it back to us?
They're not throwing it back. They're asking.
It goes to the BZA. So the only thing we can say is it's a non-conforming lot. It's up to you now to tell us. We're just saying it's
Oh.
not conforming, so it has to go to the.
But they are asking for some input from us. I think this is similar to the tram of last month.
Yeah.
Was
It's a
there-
chance for us to provide some comment to the BZA as they make their consideration.
Could I ask a question of the applicant? Mark and Sarah, I'm curious. I mean, part of the problem is because this big piece of property had these smaller properties subdivided all along the road and then left that little strip over there. Was that while you owned it, were all those little pieces subdivided out?
No, that was many, many years before we purchased the property in July of 2014. We believe it's the former property owner two back. I think it's the Mr. Earl Young, who had over many, many years long ago started to have those smaller roadfront properties. We purchased in 2014.
Thank you, thank you.
And you haven't subdivided at all since you've owned it, right?
That's correct. We have not. It's been 31 acres from the day we purchased it.
So what you're hoping, what you were thinking you could do is, if it was legit, you would use the little stem, that 62-foot wide stem at the other end of the houses to access the parcel you want to keep, and then sell off the 12.5 as an individual thing. But then that doesn't have the 400-foot,
Right.
Frontage. so they
Yeah.
don't have 400-foot on either case.
Question again. Would this be a grandfathered section because it's 350 and there's no way to make it 400? And it wasn't 400 for how many years? 20 years?
But it was 400.
No,
Because
not,
the
oh,
stem-
yeah, and originally it might have been.
No,
but-
no. Even with the stem, it is a 400 because it's it's not contiguous, but there's 400. of-
Oh, I'm just talking about the house lot. Because,
Yeah, that's how.
that's grandfathered because it's 350 and it was done many, many years ago, so you can't say you can't cut off that piece. It's the other piece that's the
Right.
concern.
Right.
The house part, yeah, I mean. you can't-
Well,
That's the other-
So it's,
no, you could argue because the case could have been made for that the initial subdivisions were allowed
Yeah.
because you retained the 400 feet by keeping
Great.
the incontiguous.
On the other piece, right.
Yeah,
you
the other
could, right.
piece. So that's 400.
But
right then and
when it
there.
comes to something like that, the gentleman across from me is the one who has to answer this. And I noticed that he's not said a word about this.
Well, I think it's really the, BZA, poor BZA needs to
Oh,
wrestle with it. 'Cause
I do have a question. How narrow is the narrowest point of that stem?
Is that a question to me, Peter?
Yes, it is. Yes, thank you.
I believe, looking at the survey that was done, that it looks like it's 62 feet at that narrowest point,
Okay,
if I read that correctly.
okay, thank you.
And reasonably, there is the stem, and both sides, both parcels are very large and able to, handle this.
I mean, I'm
See what
looking at a minimum width of a flag and it's 50 feet.
Right,
Mhm.
None of that land's being used for agricultural purposes.
Mhm.
That is correct.
Yeah,
And we would use that smaller flag, 62 feet. That would be an access point, a driveway into a future home site for us. Far in the future, no plans now.
so I guess, I forgive my ignorance, and this is a question for Niels. What is the non-conforming part is the 350, is that correct?
So regarding non-conforming, I do have a question out there. I've been able to finally schedule a meeting with him on Thursday morning, so this is one of them. It could be, I would interpret this as a non-conforming lot. You have one, it's supposed to be 400 feet, maybe combined it's 400 feet, but when you read the definitions of lot line and all that in the code, it's in the singular. It doesn't have a provision of anything of saying combined. So I would interpret this as a legal non-conforming lot. I'm waiting to see that from legal wood there. If that is the case, then I would not presume that they would need BZA approval because it's legal non-conforming lot and they can subdivide that.
so is
If,
it,
however, he determines that, no, it is considered somehow, what that 135 and 350 is being more than 400, then I'll have to go to the BZA to get their approval to go less than 400 feet for both lots.
so should we table this
Yeah.
until the next meeting?
I mean, we don't have anything added.
This is just a sketch plan review, so if you need any additional information like the last one, we
Right.
could request it, but as part of that would be a request to get a written response from legal.
That's what I would like to see.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you hear all of that?
Yeah, I did. All right, that sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Is there anything else we want for the subdivision? And
No,
it's that,
it's a subdivision, it's just
Pretty
if it's
straightforward,
legal or
yeah.
not, that's all that we're concerned about.
Yeah. Okay. All right, any other questions for the board? From the board?
No, thank you, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. I would like to move on to the next order on the agenda, which is the Cayuga Addiction Recovery Services female treatment center that is proposed. Could the applicant please step forward and provide us a brief description of your project?
Not sure how to do this, because you're over there and you're over
Yeah.
there.
That's okay. I've gotten used to it.
Okay.
We just face them and all.
I apologize. I was raised not put my back to people, so it's a little hard to.
I know.
Anyway,
It's okay.
so,
Okay.
good evening. My name is Kristen Savard. I'm the owner and president of Advanced Design Group. So we are located out in Niagara County. And I think I see familiar faces from last time, right? I think you were
Yeah,
here.
this is-
Yeah, it was, so all three of you were here, and were you here also?
No.
No, okay.
That's great.
So just a quick introduction is that we were here for the whole site plan approval. We went through everything.
yeah,
We got the variance and that is still in place and our site plan expired. So we're here to renew or reintroduce the site plan. We've had to, because of post-COVID economy, we've had to make some changes to the layout and design. We also have some new team members here to introduce you to some things. But I want to just explain that I'm going to try and just kind of overview it and give you a quick overview. Now, Chairman, if you need me to get into more detail, I can. But I don't want to take up too much of your time unnecessarily. So,
And we'll have questions.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We'll have questions, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you just a quick overview, but first, let me just introduce the team.
Can I, just one thing, when you go over it, point out the things that are different from the last time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, I've got that already.
Very
So-
good.
Okay, so again, it's the Q Addiction Recovery Facility, and I'm here tonight with the architect on the project. I think you all remember Phil DiNicola that was here. Phil's no longer with FFAE, the architect, and so Ivan Garcia is here. So Ivan has been working with us, and we're still working for them. And they put together the revised plans. And then we have Jessica Jansen, who is the CEO for CARS, and Steve Knapp. Steve is the director of facility planning and construction. Elena. I'm sorry. I wanted to say it, yeah, sorry. Eleni Evans, she's director of development, and then Brad Walworth is the communication manager. So the intent would be that I would just give you a quick overview of what's changed on the project, introduce the project. Ivan's here to answer any architectural questions that you may have, those kind of.
Okay. Hmm. No, can't hear. Okay.
So, so a quick overview, and one of the things I want to say is that when we put this together, we all operated not knowing that the zoning had changed. And that's something that we were just informed of today. So we just went back to the zoning that was there. We didn't realize, so the zoning did change in the end of December 10th of 2019, was
Oh, right.
rezoned to AR. So we've done a very quick review between 3 o'clock and now to just see what the impact would be. So far, we've identified 2 area variances that we potentially may have to go for, but I think we're gonna look for interpretation of the regulation and how this applies. But we are prepared to tackle either the BZA as their regular meetings or a special meeting with them, or whatever we need to do. The goal of trying to keep things moving along. We
Hmm.
think, you're no longer having any issues with DEC, so that was all great. So that is complete. And the project itself, as a whole, is not changing too significantly over what you saw last time. So the building is still located in the same place. It has been scaled back a little bit. There's less bump outs and things, and just a much more efficient design. We've also advanced the MEP design, which is the mechanical, the electrical, the plumbing. All of that has advanced, and we've had to move some things around a little bit for building code issues and things.
Mm.
In addition, we did have parking over here. We had more parking than what was needed. They wanted to get out in front of it. So we ended up removing that parking just from a cost standpoint and a grading standpoint and drainage and things. So the parking that was over here is no longer there. The building has been made a little bit smaller. And we were able to, with the removal of the impervious associated with this parking lot and the smaller building, we were able to meet the 500-year storm requirement
Oh,
without putting that secondary pond in. Huge savings. So we did take this time, and some of the things we eliminated to value engineer and design to come up with something a little bit more efficient. So that's what's here. I really am just broad brushing it because nothing else has changed. So I think it would probably be most efficient to make ourselves available to answer any questions that are still lingering. And if Chairman, you would like a much more thorough explanation, I can get into it. But I didn't know what you were up for.
Yeah, no, this is great. And you provide a lot of documentation, and I'm sure we have some questions as well.
Wasn't this in 2 towns at one time?
It is, it's in, well, it still is.
Yeah.
So you're in 2 towns and 2 counties. You're in the town of Ulysses, the
Right.
town of Hector,
Yeah.
and then you've got, what are the counties?
Skylar is.
Skylar. Yep,
Yeah.
So the stuff that was in,
yes, and so I think it's up over here.
I remember we had
Yes.
to do all that.
Yep.
But we're responsible for that.
Yeah, we're-
Yeah, we had the.
We're responsible for.
So what is the current water demand at the other side?
This is for water clarity and water for treatment and all that. So by moving it to the back, we took it out of a aquifer criteria. So the DEC isn't as concerned about it as they were. So it was a
Right.
huge move all the way around.
Right, so what's gonna happen to the new building? Is it gonna tap into that same
Yes.
system?
Yes, we put a pump station in. And the
Uh-huh.
pump station was sized and deep enough so that we're draining down to it. The pump station's in, it's operating, it's going, pumping to the new field in the back, and we're just gonna tie into that.
Uh-huh, and so what is, so if this is the total capacity. And you're 25 people, 25 beds, how many beds did the old,
60,
so you've got it?
85.
Okay, got it.
And the last time when we went through this, that capacity for the septic was for the addition at that time.
Okay,
So the
thanks.
20, it was for
Okay.
that particular
Great.
size and for the old building. It's supposed to be for both.
Mhm.
And I think that, and the state approved it also.
Yes.
Great.
we were
Nothing to do with
state.
us.
Yeah.
So as I look through, there's a lot of blank spaces on your form, and are you gonna fill all those in once you get the numbers and everything?
Form.
Wait a minute, what's the first page? I'm looking at page 4 right now, hang on.
Are you on what form?
I'm gonna take 1 second, just see the title.
The environmental?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The assessment?
Yeah, environmental assessment form, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was filled out. We have,
Zoning.
There's a couple that weren't checked.
Yeah, like
That's all.
zoning C3, is it a proposed action located in the municipality? Yes, no, not answered. If yes, then you put something down. So it's not done.
it was, we do it electronically, maybe something got lost in the
Okay.
the
Yeah,
transmission, but
just
we'll make
make
sure
sure
it's
it's get through. Yep.
Yeah,
We have a lot of
there's a
blank
few
ones.
of them, either yes or no, we have.
Yep.
You can't leave it. blank.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of them.
But you won't be voting on, and it is possible, see, a lot of times seeker is, well, most times seeker is usually not turned in until the site plan.
Oh, yeah,
So that's why, that's probably why a couple of them are still a little.
yeah.
but that's what we're here to tell you.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the items that we need, because if you come next time with it, we're gonna tell you the same thing.
You better throw me out, because I better not be doing that.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what else we would need for this.
Do we need to do another hearing then?
Well, I mean, we'll do our site plan review and a public hearing.
No, I just was curious. whether
But first,
need
we have to
do
have all the
that.
information.
No, I know. I didn't mean, I
That,
just
yeah.
was
Probably
curious.
because they made changes. I mean, it's
Yeah.
handful changes. Yeah.
Right.
Great, there were people at the last hearing, I would think.
Yeah, that's true.
I hate to say that.
Okay,
So, yeah, the only questions would be, fill everything out, and if we had the old plan, just to see what the change, more changes that you made.
Okay,
That would just help us deal with it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There it is.
yeah, I'll have to just add because we have no viewports that go that big.
Yeah,
Either that or I have plans, septic design plans, I can submit those. are very
well, that's not
reference.
really, we don't really need that.
No, but it shows you where it's located.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
like
yeah.
that,
Just on the map,
definitely.
because even if that has a line, it
Um,
should show something going.
Yeah.
That's all.
I-
Yeah.
I missed one part of it. I'm sorry, my internet was cutting out, and it sounds like you've already talked quite a bit about the septic. But the part I just wanted to know is a new system being put in that'll serve both facilities, or is it yes, okay, that was the impression I got. And so the one that's existing now is going to be under the parking lot is going to be basically decommissioned.
It's already abandoned and it's, a little bit of it's under the parking lot, but the rest of it, we're gonna build the bioretention for speedies in the hole that we create. We're trying to utilize the space. And then part of it we don't need, we will be backfilling with surplus material. So it'll either be grass or the bioretention area or we'll do it in this parking lot.
Okay, great, thank you.
Good.
All right, I don't have any additional questions.
You want to add that in?
we're good.
Okay,
You're good? Okay.
there's one
That's all we
there's
need, just that.
one matter of business that we need to take care of with this application. We have a resolution to make the planning board the lead agency for the seeker review for this application, and we were the lead agency in 2019 as well. the resolution, is simply identifying us as the lead agency.
Yeah,
Can,
okay,
what's that?
okay,
We're all
Can I get a
set.
motion?
sure, I'll make a motion.
Can I get a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Yep.
All right.
And you can do that before you come. Just don't,
It's not complete, we'll make that decision later.
just make sure we don't. hurt somebody else.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Yes, thank you.
And you're gonna look into the sequencing for the site plan versus BZA and stuff?
And catch was, who made the motion?
I was first, he was second.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Way you want, really.
Look,
All right. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much. And that concludes,
Wait, for
Yeah.
liaison,
yes,
Do we have
liaison
one?
report. Absolutely. We do. We got Michael Boggs here and maybe Rich as well. I'm not sure.
Which is on vacation.
Okay. Okay. Michael, do you have a report?
Yes.
Anything to report?
I do not.
You do not. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, that concludes, our meeting tonight. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
hey, thanks a ton for doing this,
Yeah.
when you felt so
Thank you.
sick.
That was
Thank
rough.
you.
Thanks for the patience.
I really appreciate it, because it's like you're on top of the rules and what, and I.
And by the way, we
Yes.
voted and you're buying us dinner.
wait, there's the donuts.
So, yeah, there's
Don't forget the donuts.
I think we need discussion on the
No,
motion.
not you.
Um,
Motion to-
all right. All in favor of adjournment? Aye.
I-
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, feel better.
Neil,
Yeah.